All right, hello, hello, hello. Let's get this rolling here. How's everyone doing this evening? My name is Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Monday Night Live class. I am so glad you're with me. Tonight, let's see. Tonight we're going to be, I'm going to walk you through and show you how to draw a couple style of trees. You know, trees are difficult, but I think I can help simplify them enough where you would feel much better about it. But yeah, anyways, I'm watching the upload speed here. I think we might be okay. So we'll see how this goes here. But yeah, so if you look down in the description, we have a great Facebook group. I would encourage you to check that out. We also have a couple classes that you can see as well. That's all down in the description. But in the meantime, if you don't mind, like the video, give a thumbs up, and I always appreciate a comment. It's always so helpful. So with that being said, we have an hour together here. Let's kind of jump into it, and let me kind of give you an overview of drawing trees. All right? So first thing I want you to do when you're drawing a tree, let's just really simplify this, okay? We're gonna really simplify this. So let's just say we start off with just a round sphere, okay? And hey, Jill, how are you doing? I see ya. Glad you're here. So you hope you're ready to go, huh, Jill? So what I want you to do is start off with a round sphere, and I want you to think of this sphere not as flat, but as three-dimensional, okay? So if our light was shining down on this round mass, we're gonna get shadow, of course, on this left-hand side here, you see? We're gonna end up with shadow on the left-hand side. So, and let's draw a trunk down below. So this would be the easiest tree that you could possibly imagine. Okay? So this tree is going to be round. It's going to have mass. And then let's also take a look at one other aspect here. So I want to talk about trunk. I want to talk about two aspects. One about drawing trunks, and then about drawing the leaves around it. Okay, so the trunks, I oftentimes will use surface lines. Surface lines are lines that go around the form, and so we use them to indicate the direction of form and to give something a very 3D look. All right, and the great thing about using surface lines is that we could change the direction of them, and it will completely change the way you see something. All right, so in this example, if I go in this direction, hold on here, I'm trying to get us all looking good. All right, if I go this direction, it's going to make the trunk look like it's falling away from us. And then if I go like this, it makes this branch coming towards us. And if I go the opposite way here, it will make that branch look like it's going away from us. Okay, so we want to start streaming. Let's see if we got disconnected just for a second. Hold on here, and I think we're back up, so we're okay. So like I was saying, I don't want you to think of something as being flat, but I want you to think of it as like you're building it out of clay, and it has mass to it, and it's round. All right, so that's the other aspect. So those three things I want you to think of: surface lines, overlap, and mass. All right, let's continue on here with our drawing. I'm going to just erase that. All right, let's go ahead and draw another big oval, a sphere per se, over here. All right, and let's go ahead and add maybe another sphere on top of that, like this. And then for a variety of size, let's make something a little bit smaller here, like this. And let's say we have another piece, another sphere, but that's behind our tree. So just think of like you're taking this mass amount of clay and you're adding pieces to it all the way around it. All right. Now let's say our sun was coming from the top right side. All right. So that's going to cause this one to have a light side and a dark side. You see that? It's going to cause this one to have a light side and a dark side. And then it's going to have this one back here also have a light side and dark side. You see? And then this is also going to affect the big mass, the big thing of clay, and it's going to be like this, you see? So this is going to be the whole tree there is going to have a sense of mass to it. Now let's get into our trunk. Now if our trunk, you know, we could do something like this. And you could start with a very small branch here, and maybe a large one comes over there. And maybe you can have a small one come over here, and it has a branch coming off there. You see that? So now we've taken our simplified tree and we've complicated it a bit. Now in here we can add some small little scallops to signify leaves. And then same thing with this big one here. We could do that. We could add surface lines to our trunk here. So this is an excellent method to really start to get familiar with how you can put a tree together. So this is where I would begin. If you're having trouble drawing trees, I would definitely start with this type of practice where you are just keep thinking of round forms, go from simple to a little bit more complex. All right. Let's go ahead and bring in a picture here and see how we do with this this picture right here. All right, so this here is a bonsai tree. And let's go ahead and kind of do a gesture, okay? So let's just kind of follow along here and just, I'm going to add where I see these masses of, I don't know if these are leaves or if they're like a moss or something, because I don't really see too many small leaves here. All right, let's just kind of work through this trunk here just a little bit. Again, I'm just kind of gesturing this. Just trying to get some lines in place. All right, let's talk about this first. Let's come down here and just kind of look at this first bit of leaves here. I'm just thinking of this as a piece of clay. All right, here's another one. All right, we got another one on top there. Another one here. What's nice is there's a lot of drawing trees, believe it or not, will give you a lot of freedom. You know, it's not like drawing the face where you get all tense up, right? Okay. All right, I'm gonna kind of come in here with this trunk, and I can see it's coming in like this. This other trunk is behind that. I can see up on top there. All right, I'm slowly making my way across here. Okay, look how this down here has a bit of an overlap. I'm just making nice marks here by pushing down and pulling up, okay? Keep looking for those overlaps. All right, let's add some tone here. So this guy has some tone underneath. This guy has some tone. In fact, all of these have tone. This guy has a little bit of tone underneath. Okay, this guy as well. In fact, this trunk has tone. This branch back here in the back has some tone. So when I'm adding tone, all I'm trying to think is, I keep asking myself what's in the dark and what's in the light. And I try and make a very clear distinction there. What's in the dark? What's in the light? In this case, everything that I've determined is going to be in the dark. I've added a consistent even tone to. Okay, I'm gonna come in here now and add some surface lines on these trunks. All right, this overlaps here, so I can. Okay. Surface lines. Look at this. I could see this big rock here down here. So I'm just going to add this rock right here. Just an outline shape. And then maybe right along here we'll have this. It'll turn the corner. I could maybe put another one back here behind that root, right? Let's come in here and just add some texture. So you can see just how I keep working around my drawing here. Adding texture and value. Thinking of those three things, remember? They were, think of mass, surface lines, and overlap. All right, that's what we're kind of looking for here. Yeah, when you're putting down these surface lines, really get your mind to think that you're really going around the form here, okay? So I'm slowly just kind of working through the form. Maintaining that contrast by keeping my lights separate from my darks. All right, I think we're going to get on to our next picture here. We ready? Okay, let's take a look at our next picture here. All right, let's take a look. Let's do this one here. Again, let's approach it with the same idea. This isn't flat. There's a mass. It's round. All right. So just keep thinking of that idea. Now, when I look at this tree, I'm asking myself, where can I group? Where are the major masses of leaves? So let me just kind of look at it closely for a second, and just ask yourself, I know that tree. Yeah, it's from a couple weeks ago. Of course you know that tree. So let's try and think of the mass of this tree here, okay? So look at this. I could see this. I could see this is a grouping of leaves. You see that? I could see this as a grouping down here. I could see this as a grouping. It kind of comes in here like this. Where else can we see? All right, this is kind of coming in here, and I got this little piece here. And I think the rest of it, maybe you could even break that one up there. All right. So this is how I'm looking at it in my mind. Just like I'm adding these pieces of clay onto it, all right? So we're just gonna bring that down just a little bit there. I'll keep it so you still can see it. All right, so let's just kind of rough those in just a bit. Jill, how you doing there? And Small Town Picker, how are you doing? Everyone doing okay? All right, let's get rid of those red lines there. I'm okay. We did these before, right? We did these in the day. We did this tree in the daily draw. Oh, hey, Gail. Yeah, we did this in the daily draw about 4 weeks ago. It was a good. I thought this was a very good average tree. Okay, so let's break this down just a little bit. And all you're going to do, all I'm doing is squinting my eyes and trying to just squinting my eyes, really blurring them so I could find the darks versus lights in this tree. Just applying value here. I'm even going to add a shadow to the top part of this trunk. Okay, let's get in here then and start adding. Let's take each little section here and start to add some texture to it, okay? All I'm doing is just adding small bits of texture. Remember, overlap, mass, and surface lines. We're going to have about 5 more minutes on this tree, and then we'll move on to our last tree of the night. How do you add texture? That's a good question. So, Jill, when I'm adding texture, all I'm thinking of is like, I'm doing this sort of thing. I'm just trying to make a generic leaf shape, but I'm doing that much smaller. So, I'll keep doing these little teeny scallops, and then maybe in a little area I might add some tone on top of them. And then I'll try and make some more and, scatter them out, give them variation. That's how I'm doing it. But before you get to your detail, of course, you kind of want to put your tree together with these, as I keep referring to, these globs of clay. You see? When I start adding the texture in the lighter areas, yeah, I'm going to draw a little bit lighter maybe, as opposed to when I'm in some of the shadowed areas. I'll go darker and heavier. And occasionally you can even add a branch, that's kind of, that you can see into the tree there. Okay, I think we're going to move on to our last tree for the night. So you could see that I just continue working this, just taking my time, continue working the mass, the overlap, and the surface line. Okay, let's go ahead and just kind of gesture this guy out here. Let's get a new layer here. Not interested in these pine needles as of yet. Just trying to get a sense of where the overall shape is going to be. Okay. Now, typically with tree, you know, when you'll start off with something thick, and then it gets a little bit thinner, and then gets a little bit thinner. So it's like it tapers, okay? And every time you have a branch that's coming off, that's gonna get a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. But you really want to make sure that you have that leafy canopy, that leafy volume. So let's just think of that tree almost like a trail that you're just kind of the trunk that you're following down a path that's cutting right through the sky there. Okay, this trunk looks like it comes back around there, right? All right, I'm going to go ahead and just add some surface lines before I start adding the edges. This is just going to help me kind of get a sense of where this thing's going. All right. I'm going to come in here now, I think, and add some of these. They're almost like pine needles. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Here's this guy over here. I'm just gonna, at this point, just lightly work in this group. I'll come back in with darker values here after this first pass. Add some tone to this now, just an overall tone. What do you mean by overlap? Just how it sounds. That's overlap. Yeah, yeah. Like clay pieces. Yeah, that's right. Like I'm thinking of this idea. Like if this was that's a great question, by the way. Like that was like a glob of clay, and then there's another one behind it, and another one behind there. You see? So those are overlapping each other. So let me demonstrate that right down here in this trunk. So if I come down here like this, you see that? And then I come behind it. You see? And then this comes around like this. there's another overlap. Maybe this guy comes like this, and we've got that coming around like that. You see? Yep, you're good. This might have a little bit of a knob there. So we really, by doing these small little, a lot of times I've talked about these things as being using the letter Y or the letter T, looking for your T's and Y's. So in this case, you can very clearly see the letter T. Do you see that? So there, I could do that right there. Look at that. And come back around maybe. Here, and then this might come. Yeah, so you really get a sense of pushing and pulling. You'll use this idea of overlap so much, especially if you ever move on to drawing the human figure. Oh man, you use it all the time to really kind of tell you what forms are on what. For example, like look at my hand here. Let me get in the right position here. Okay, so you could see that this pad for my pinky is overlapping this middle part of my wrist there. You see that? And this pad of that pinky area is overlapping the pad of my thumb. You see? That gives us depth. Jill, I would say the most important thing you can do when it comes to drawing trees, outside of just, pure repetition and practice, just really think of it as volume and mass. That's the way to think of it. Just making my way across this form here. See now, these little needles here are a different texture than those leaves that we did on the last tree. They're a different texture. I'm going to darken my trunk right in here. You can see in our picture there's a change in value there. There's a change in value down here. adding some value. Just adding some light value to these more leaves to create the illusion. I don't have to do all the detail, all of the texture. I could just add a darker value and it gives the illusion that there's a lot of needles in a certain area. Now, the further away a tree is, the less, the less detail you're going to get. Look at these two trees that are way down there in the gully. They're just round masses of value almost. This is, of course, is on this rock plain here. I'm just going in now and adding just some of these twigs. It has these little teeny leaves here, so I'm going to just add some of those. Now, for dramatic effect, look at the bottom of my trunk here. I'm just gonna leave just a sliver of color there, of that white paper, the white of the paper coming through, and that's gonna be a nice little addition. So it's like a little bit of rim light. Now I know it's not in the picture, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it. I think it will add a little bit of interest to it. And I could even do the same right here. I just want to darken the edge there. So this is all going to be in the negative space. A little different tonight than what we normally do, but there was some conversation about wanting to take a look at trees, and this is what you guys voted on. So please do comment on the video, and of course, make sure you subscribe and definitely give a like. I appreciate that. And I think that's going to do it for tonight. Adding just some like lines of the twisting of that bark. All right, that's it for tonight. Listen, my name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Just want to thank everyone for tuning in, and yeah, post your work in our Facebook group. Join the daily draw. And let's see, today is Monday. I will be back. We have a class going on right now called the Back to Basics. That's going to meet again on Wednesday morning. And then on Wednesday night, we always have a portrait class. So tune in for that as well, okay? Hey, Cookiemon. That's a great name. All right. Thanks for watching this, and I hope you learned something. We will see you guys later. Okay, bye-bye.